Good morning, students. Today we will begin with our very first chapter of your Civics book, and the chapter is Equality. In this chapter, the focus would remain on the status of equality in Indian democracy. Children, before moving on directly to the topic, let's have a little background of democracy. Democracy means people's participation in decision making. Then, the conflicts are resolved by keeping in mind the people's wishes. And the third is equality. Every citizen must be treated equally in a democracy. So these are the three main features that a democracy must have. We read about the three different features of democracy: people's participation, conflict resolution, and equality. As the chapter name suggests, equality, and the focus in this explanation would definitely be on equality. And the following concepts will be covered under the explanation. First, what is equality? Second, equality in Indian democracy. Third, issues of equality in other democracies. That means some problems related to equality in other democratic countries. Fourth, challenge of democracy. That means problems being faced by the democratic countries. Children, now let's move on to the main topic. That is, what is equality? I know many of you know the meaning of equality. As it suggests, equality means same status, treating everyone in same manner, irrespective of their caste, creed, gender, race, financial status, or religion. One should treat everyone equal. Like we have the right to vote. Once you attain the age of 18 years, you are provided with right to vote, irrespective of your caste, creed, gender, race, financial status, or religion. Only the condition required is you have to be an adult of 18 years age. Same way, number of democratic countries have provided the right to equality to make their countries more democratic by providing right to equality. So children, here we have equal right to vote. In India, all adults, that means 18 years and above citizens, irrespective of their religion, their education, their caste, their social status, rich or poor, they're all allowed to vote when they are an adult. This equal right to vote is also known as universal adult franchise. Universal means that it is applicable to all. Adult means adults. Franchise means right to vote. universal adult franchise. All adults have right to vote, and it is one of the most important aspects of a democracy. A country can only be called a democratic country when the citizens living in have right to vote. Children, here you can see people standing in a queue to cast their votes. You can see they are showing us an iCard which has photograph on it. It is known as EPIC. EPIC. That means Electoral Photo Identity Card. Once you are an adult, you get yourself registered with the Election Commission and they provide you with this Electoral Photo Identity Card. It is issued by the Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India is an independent body which conducts the elections in free and fair manner. So children, we read about the universal adult franchise, where all adult citizens of India are provided with the right to vote. There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed, religion, education, status, etc. But what about other kinds of equality? Do we provide all kinds of equality to people living in India? Let's take few examples. When you see surroundings, do you find people with equal status living in? The daily living and working conditions of people are same? Are all people rich? Or are all people poor? No, they're not equal. There is inequality in many ways, like caste, creed, gender, race, profession, and religion. Even today, we can see casteism, people fighting over caste, religion, race, creed. And in families, many families, we still see there is gender discrimination. People prefer boys over girls. They give more attention towards their boys than girls. And every religion tries to be more superior than other. So these are some kinds of inequalities which we see in our surroundings. In class 6th you have read about the casteism. The castes were divided on the people's occupation. Upper caste people used to suppress the poor or the lower caste people. And children belonging to the lower caste faced casteism since their childhood. They experienced untouchability. Just being born in lower class, and they were called Dalits, means broken. Who decided all these? We as humans. Nobody else. So what solution can be provided to stop all this inequalities? Let's move further and read what can be done to provide more equal status in a democracy like India. Students, as far now, we've understood that the caste we are born into, the religion we practice, the class background we come from, whether we are male or female, these are often the things that determine why some people are treated unequally. Now let's discuss how to avoid that treatment by recognizing dignity of an individual. Dignity means the self-respect. When we treat people unequally, their self-respect is harmed. Their dignity is violated. You have read many examples related to children belonging to Dalit families who were treated badly in schools. They were made to sit outside the classroom and were not allowed to drink water from the pot kept for upper caste children. There were many examples that students from Dalit class were asked to sweep the school because they belonged to the lower caste. That means we somewhere need to recognize dignity, recognize the self-respect of humans, irrespective of their caste they are born into, the religion they practice, the gender they have, etc. Equality plays a major role in recognizing dignity. When you treat people equal, they feel good. The moment you treat somebody unequal, it hurts. That means it is important to treat everyone equal with respect and dignity. Then only, in a true manner, a country can be called a democratic country. Respect humans, respect their dignity. So children, as far now, you've understood that the caste we are born into, the religion we practice, the class background we come from, whether we are male or female, these are often the things that determine why some people are treated unequally. When people are treated unequally, their dignity is violated. Their self-respect is harmed. And to avoid that, to stop that disrespect of their dignity, Indian government has taken some steps to provide them equal status in the country. So let's see what is the status of equality in the Indian democracy. The Indian Constitution, the rule book for the nation, recognizes all citizens of India as equal, irrespective of their gender, caste, religion, etc. But children, when you look around, you get to see that inequality does exist. But there are laws that make discrimination and ill treatment in any form a punishable offense. But yes, the person who's being ill treated should know what laws can prevent him or her from being discriminated. Government has taken few more steps to provide equality, to guarantee equality to people. One is through laws, and various schemes are framed to help disadvantaged communities, for poor people, for weaker section of the society. There are many schemes, poverty alleviation schemes, started by the government to remove poverty from the nation. Schemes like AAY, Antyodaya Anna Yojana, schemes like Manrega, MNREGA, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, etc. So one should know what steps have been taken by the government to provide dignity to its citizens. So now children, we will read about the status of equality in the Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution is a written document that lays down the basic rules and regulations for people and the government in the country to follow. So what status we have for equality in the Indian Constitution? Let's read. So children, here are the various provisions provided by the Indian Constitution for equality. The right to equality is one of the fundamental rights given to us by the Indian Constitution. It comes under Articles 14 to 18 and provides few of the followings. Equality before the law. That means every person, from the President of India to a servant, are equal before the law and they are bound to follow the same rules and regulations. Second, no person should be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, race, caste, place of birth or gender. Third, every person has access to all the public places, including playgrounds, markets, hotels and shops. They can use public wells, roads and bathing ghats, irrespective of their gender, caste, color, religion. And now we can see, when you move to the markets, nobody asks you about your religion, caste, etc. When you go to the hotel for dine out, nobody asks you which caste you belong to, which religion you belong to give you entry. So, these all are the provisions as per laws provided to us by the Indian Constitution. Untouchability has been abolished. Nobody can practice untouchability. If somebody does so, he or she can be punished by the law. So these are the few provisions provided to us by the Indian Constitution under the fundamental right, the right to equality, Articles 14 to 18. So now we have the midday meal scheme. One of the schemes started by the Indian government. Initially, the scheme was started by the Tamil Nadu state. And in 2001, Supreme Court made it compulsory for every state to implement midday meal scheme. Then the Indian government made it compulsory for every state to start the midday meal scheme in 2001. Midday meal scheme means providing children with cooked lunch at schools. And this scheme helped poor children in number of ways. Children started joining schools and attending regular classes. It has reduced caste prejudices because all children coming to school, they will all sit together and have food. And the lunch which is prepared in the schools is prepared by the Dalit women. So it has reduced caste prejudices. It has also helped in controlling malnutrition or hunger among the poor children. Now they need not to rush back to their homes for lunch, nor their parents need to come back from their work to cook food for their children. Now they can concentrate well on studies by getting lunch in the schools. So here, students, you can see an image where many children are sitting together. It is an image of a government school where children are being served with midday meal. Many children are sitting all together. They belong to different castes, different religions, and different class. With the midday meal schemes, the gap between the different castes, different religions, different classes has reduced a lot. On the other hand, for the sake of food, children started enrolling to schools. They are being provided with nutritious food. So the problem of being hungry is also solved with midday meal schemes provided at schools. Children, you may probably be wondering whether India is the only democratic country in which there is inequality and where the struggle for equality continues to exist. The truth is that in many democratic countries around the world, the issue of equality continues to be the key issue around which communities struggle. Here the topic is issues of equality in other democracies. That means we will discuss about the problems related to equality in other democratic countries. Here we will take an example of the United States of America, where the African Americans, whose ancestors were the slaves who were brought over from Africa to America, they were treated unequally. Despite a movement in 1950, a movement was known as the Civil Rights Movement. Behind this movement, there was a lady, Rosa Parks, an African American woman who changed the course of American history with one defiant act. She struggled for the rights of African Americans in America, as they were treated badly in America. They were not allowed to go to schools where Americans studied. They had different separate schools. They were amongst the poorest of the poor. So finally, 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed. It prohibited discrimination on any basis and made sure that all schools were open for African Americans and that they don't have to study separately. They were given the seats in the government schools as well as the highly rated private schools. So this is how the Civil Rights Act of 1964 provided equal rights to African Americans after a long struggle. Children, even though the democratic governments try to provide equal status and equal rights to all its citizens, but still the democracies face some challenges which can never be undone. Equality is a dynamic concept. which keeps on changing. It cannot be static. That means after every few establishments or few acts, there comes the another challenge for equality, by which you can say no country can be described as being completely democratic. One or the other challenge comes before the equality. There's always scope of expansion and greater recognition of equality on existing as well as new issues. When you try to fulfill the existing issues of equality, in the few more days or few more years, you will find certain new issues or challenges related to equality. So this struggle for the recognition of all persons as equal and providing the dignity to all persons remains forever. The struggle continues for the democratic countries to provide equal status to all its citizens. So children, here I hope you understood the concept of equality. A dynamic concept, ever-changing concept, which always provides some challenges to the democratic governments or democratic nations to work for it, to provide equal status to its citizens. I hope the concept is very clear to you. Now I take a leave of you all. Thank you.